but she's got a lot of things on her mind to talk about now. She's taking care of her voice, so you know that she's not gonna shout now. She's not gonna shout. So get your headphones ready to hear what it's all about now. What it's all we'll about. Have no fun, 'cause jenkirkman's podcast comes out today. We'll have no fun, 'cause jenkirkman's podcast comes out today.
No fun. What was that? Is my voice changing? No fun. This is, you know what? I'm going to be honest. These are the first words I have spoken today. That was the first time I've made a sound because I'm recording this in the morning before I go to my writing job. And this will be released. Well, it doesn't. Why am I announcing when it's going to be released? You were listening to it, so it was released. But, you know, I didn't record it this morning. I'm recording it. It's Monday morning, May 16th. What? Listen, this is already off the rails. No Fun, the Jen Kirkman Podcast, Season 10, Episode 10. I'm Jen Kirkman, comedian, former touring comedian. Currently, I'd just say I'm a comedian. I mean, I was one for so long. Am I not one anymore? But I'm not touring. But you get it. But this is the podcast where I'm not doing comedy, maybe telling funny stories, but just talking about what's going on in my life, in the world, and in my head. Topics can be about pop culture, politics, or the personal. The 3 Ps, PPP. I'm not going to go too deep on politics because honestly, this is where I come to escape. And I need to provide somewhere for you all to escape into so that you can spend an hour ignoring the end of democracy so that you can actively participate in not participating in it. I am here to do the worst thing possible, which is distract people from what's important. This week's episode, what am I going to talk about? I'm back on planes. They're disgusting again. We haven't had I'm annoyed with someone travel story in 3 years, so I've got one of those. I've got thoughts about Chris Shell and Jason on Selling Sunset. I mean, it's embarrassing that I do. I'm thinking about people that I don't even know. I started bullet journaling. I was totally wrong about what it is and isn't. Roe v. Wade is looking to be overturned by the Supreme Court. I'm just saying that in a folksy way. There's a great article by Rebecca Traister about the notion that when we say, and of course we mean while saying this, that, well, I mean, rich women will still be able to get an abortion. We're not quite right about that anymore because when that original sentiment was said, it was a little bit of a different America. And what's rich and what isn't is so different now. If someone landed a plane that wasn't a pilot, could it have been Dr. Barbara Persons? If you don't know what that means, it's an old joke between me and my listeners from, oh my God, maybe even 10 years ago on this podcast. And if I have time to get to it, there's a reason why aliens haven't visited Earth yet. Now, you are listening to the free 20-minute version of the podcast. The entire hour is available on Patreon, patreon.com/Jen Kirkman. The link is in the show notes. You don't have to remember what I just said. $3 a month, you get the 2 No Fun episodes that come out every month. You get them in full and you get bonuses as well. $5 a month, you get bonus episodes, and it goes on and up from there. The more you pay, the more episodes you get of me talking about what's going on in the personal, the political, and the pop culture in my head, in my life, in the world. Now, this podcast that you're listening to, the free one, would not exist without the Patreon. The Patreon is how I make a living doing podcasting. And so please consider joining if you like the podcast. It is the only way to support me on this podcast. Drinking a little coffee. That is disturbing to people with misophonia, and I am so sorry. On my other podcast, Anxiety Bites, I actually did an episode about misophonia. Please do listen to that. That comes out free every Wednesday, and I do interview someone every week about a different aspect of anxiety. We had a great episode this week about ADHD, one the week before about OCD. You don't need to have anxiety to enjoy the podcast. I talk to neuroscientists, to therapists, to researchers, sometimes to entertainers. Look, if you have a brain, I don't mean that in a pejorative, like if you're not stupid, but literally if you have a brain in your head, you might be interested in how it works. If you have a nervous system, you might be interested in how it works. If you've ever had stress, you might be interested in how that works and how it becomes an anxiety disorder. If you know anyone with anxiety, if you've ever loved and lost, if you've ever grieved a death, if you've ever had a deadline that you couldn't meet, if you've ever felt like imperfect and, anything, there will be an episode of this podcast that's for you. So please check it out. It is the other love of my life that I love doing besides this podcast. And between these two podcasts, that's what makes up for not touring. And so please, please, please do listen to Anxiety Bites. Download it free wherever you get your podcasts. Okay. So, and I might also tell stories about what it's like to pitch TV shows to younger people. So like late 30s millennials are giving me strong boomer energy. Is anyone else in Gen X feeling this? Like when you talk to people 10 years younger than you, they kind of remind you of people that are 15 years older than you in that they're like, what do you mean you don't want kids? Like, I don't know what's happening, but there's this age range. It's like 36 to 40. It's just right before the Gen X cutoff. This 4-year block of millennials giving strong boomer energy, where they're being real heteronormative and really into having kids. And I'm going to get into it later because it's a little bit insider Hollywood, and I don't need to be blasting this to everyone about, meetings I've had and the way people behaved, but that is something I'm going to bring up. So I went to Los Angeles a few weeks ago. I was so lucky to get to go right after they removed the mask mandate and cases of COVID were spiking. I hadn't been back to Los Angeles in 6 months. I'm living in New York for a job, but I had to go back to my place in LA. And I go back, and again, it's a rented apartment. It's, for anyone that new to this is like, oh my God, how many homes does this woman own? And she wants us to join Patreon for $3 a month. So I go back to Los Angeles, and I get on the plane, JetBlue, and I do my usual wiping down of the flight, which I had been doing, me and Naomi Campbell, had been doing years before COVID. It's not germ phobic. It's appropriate germ phobia. It's not even phobia. Let's say it's appropriate precautionary germ getting rid of. That's not a word or a sentence, but I always have my Clorox wipes. I remember someone saying to me once, oh, I always have Clorox wipes on me because I'm a mom. And I'm like, yeah, other people besides moms can take precautions. I know it's crazy to think about. Who are these people that are like needed to become a mom to ever start thinking about germs? You'd never thought when you got on a plane that some disgusting person was sitting here in this seat eating and spreading things with their hands, and maybe they went to the bathroom, and maybe they wiped their poopy butt, and maybe they washed their hands in that drip, 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 non-existent water in the airplane bathroom, and maybe they didn't even use soap because maybe the soap dispenser was empty, and they thought, who cares? And they just wiped their hands on their jeans, and then they sat back down in those jeans on that seat, and then they ordered food, and then they touched the screen to watch their stupid movie, and then they touch the seatbelt that you're going to touch. You'd never thought about that until you were a mom? My God, no wonder there's germs everywhere because people are animals, I guess, unless they have children, and then they suddenly start thinking about wiping things down.
My name is Paul Gilmartin, and I am the host of the Mental Illness Happy Hour podcast, where we have raw conversations about the stuff that's difficult to talk about out loud. It's made best of lists and been praised by the New York Times, Esquire, Psychology Today. And I have on regular people, therapists, and famous people like Mark Maron, Tiffany Haddish, Catherine Hahn, and Rob Delaney. Check it out, the Mental Illness Happy Hour.
So I'm on the plane. I take out the tray, and it is just covered in food. It's just red sauce. I mean, hopefully it wasn't blood. It was disgusting. And I thought, this plane hasn't, these planes have not been this dirty, not even before COVID. I mean, this is almost pointed. This is almost someone trying to be dirty. And I mean, it was, and I remember, do you remember these were the glory days of the pre-vaccine COVID year. Of course, I wasn't traveling during this year, but I was hearing the tales of how clean planes were. They were, I don't know, I just pictured people coming in with those big spray things. It looks like when people come and spray for mosquitoes, like just spraying down antibacterial, wiping on an industrial level, the inside of the plane. Everybody's wiping down trays and, on a professional level. And I guess that's just over. Even though COVID's not over, that is over. And the first time I did fly after my first vaccine, after my first 2 shots in 2021, the planes were very clean. But you see it when you're waiting to board. You see everyone get off and you see 5 minutes go by and then they start boarding your asses on the plane. There's no cleaning going on in between then. There was still trash in the pocket in front of me. It was, and I was in a first class seat. I was in Mint, people. When I fly cross country, that's why I've got my JetBlue credit card. I get 6 points for every dollar I spend. Well, my points are up there, y'alls. If you ever want to rob me, never mind breaking into my apartment, rob my JetBlue account because my points will get you a lot of round trips first class. And I was just horrified and disgusted that we're back to exactly where we were pre-COVID. There was a beautiful moment in time where everybody had a germ phobia. Nobody else was doing their wipe downs. Everybody, no mask on. Every fucking idiot on the plane, no mask. And it's not living in fear. It's just living in reality. There is an airborne virus that, could get you sick. It could kill you if you're not vaccinated, could get you real sick even if you're boosted because it evades the vaccine. Because we said it from the beginning, if not everyone gets vaccinated, this thing starts mutating. Okay, now, airplanes have amazing circulation, hospital grade. It's not really that I'm worried about it flying around in the air, but it's the people in my immediate vicinity or someone, if the flight attendant comes over and asks me questions and that. So the flight attendants weren't wearing masks, so I would keep mine on because they have to lean in and ask you things. And I'm not going to let this person who's around hundreds of people a day, thousands, close talk into my face. I was actually shocked the flight attendants weren't wearing masks because they're the ones that have to deal with unvaccinated people who are breathing all over them all day. The only thing I could think of was everybody's recently had COVID and they feel bionic because you really can't get it, like 30 days after you've had it. So I know it's longer than that, but I just say 30 to be safe. As if anyone listening to me is taking me as a scientist, but you never fucking know how people are with hosts of podcasts. They take them too seriously when it comes to medical stuff. So I always try to be more cautious. So that's the only thing I could think of. But the flight otherwise, besides being steeped in other people's blech, was fine. I did wish I had brought gloves. I'm not kidding. Everything was so disgusting to touch. It was sticky. Oh, God. But I landed at 2 a.m. And I use this car service that picks me up at the airport in LA. And I like them. I've been using them forever. Safe drivers, lots of room to put my suitcases in, and help with my suitcases if I need it. Reliable, more reliable than just, trying to call an Uber the minute you get to the airport. And this woman used to drive. And she was great because she wasn't a talker. She wasn't a chit-chatter. She was just like, hi, some chit-chat when I first get in. And then she'd be like, I'll let you relax. I'll be up here if you need me. I'm acting like I'm in like a yacht. I mean, it was just like a car, like an SUV or a smaller car, but she'd be like, you know where I am. I'm gonna, drive. She'd just take it very seriously. She'd just like, I'm going to think and concentrate and drive. You do whatever. They would always assign this woman to me. I'm talking for years. So I know it was to the point where I didn't even think to request her because it just seemed automatic. But I was also like, I don't know if she's still there. It's been 2-3 years since I've used this service at all because I wasn't traveling during COVID. And I usually drive myself to the airport unless I wasn't able to park at the airport for, 6 months. So I know that these details are boring, but I know someone's listening going, why wouldn't you just drive to the airport? Or I don't know. I just thought that maybe that detail would be interesting. I am someone who likes to drive myself to the airport. I hate not being in control. I like to drive my car to this place at LAX called Wally Park. They take your keys, they park your car for you, and they will wash your car. There's no better feeling than getting off a plane. Now, you do have to get on one of those little shuttles at the airport, and then it takes you to Wally Park. Big deal, whatever. It's one extra step. It's like mildly annoying, but it's over in 5 minutes. Then when you get to Wally Park, they've already checked you out. Your card is charged. You get off the little bus and you see your car there waiting. Oh, I'm getting a severe weather alert. Downpours, tornadoes, even hail across northeast mid-Atlantic. Well, that's me here in Brooklyn. Oh my God, after days of warm, humid air, the atmosphere is primed to set off a threat for feisty storms early this week. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love bad weather and thunderstorms. And I also absolutely love living, back on the East Coast. Everyone here has the mind of a goldfish. Every minute with the weather, people are like, there's one nice day. Oh, spring's finally here. No, it's not here. It's one nice day. And then it's going to hail and storm. It'll be nice consistently more in the summer, but it's always going to rain every so often. The climate is different out here. It's seriously more like the Pacific Northwest on the East Coast than I've ever seen it. Oh my God, it's a nice day. Spring's fun. Oh man, it's raining. I can't believe it. We're not having spring. This is spring. It involves rain. Remember, March comes in like a lion, goes out like a lamb. April showers bring May flowers. Come on, people. You didn't remember these nursery rhymes growing up? What do May flowers bring? Pilgrims, and they kill everybody. In the winter, oh my God, it snowed. I have to shovel my driveway. Yeah, that's what happens in the winter when it snows. Did you forget? So there's a evil part of me that enjoys when it rains and hails just because. I don't know why. I just hope it's teaching everyone a lesson. See, remember, this is what happens. We have both. It's nice out, then it hails, then it's nice out again. Something for everyone. Anyway, so I request curbside pickup. Oh, so when you get, Wally Park, you get off the shuttle, cars waiting. It's been washed. You drive off. You're happy. Now I can go run errands or something. I don't like the feeling of getting off a plane and then getting in a car that someone else is driving and then just going right home. I like let me stop at the store. I don't know. I like that running errands right after I get off a flight feeling, or just having control of going and doing what I feel like doing.
This is How to Survive with Danielle and Christine. It's a new podcast coming up very soon, and we're going to be talking about all sorts of things that have to do with survival.
Wildfires, tsunamis,
Earthquakes,
plane crashes.
Just a bird flies into your face.
Oh, that's a really deadly thing.
That's a scary one.
And the stuff that makes you wish you were dead.
Yeah, stuff like, I crap my pants in public. How do I survive that? And we'll have guests.
Funny people.
Yeah, lots of funny people.
Some names you'll recognize.
Oh my God, we know so many funny people. Until then,
bye.
And sometimes that is going right home, but okay, this is so boring. How can you even deal with this podcast right now? So I get off the plane. The guy is waiting for me with a sign. Now, it's more money to have them pick you up inside. I did not pay for that. I paid for curbside. I said, I thought I did curbside. He said, well, I thought it would be nice to, it's so late at night if you had someone to wait with. No, since it's only you traveling. Don't make this decision. This is literally why I didn't want inside pickup, because I don't want to stand there with someone whom I don't know when I've just gotten off a plane, and it was like 2:45 in the morning. That's what I didn't want. So I'm like, okay. I mean, I am so tired. I had taken a Klonopin before I fell asleep. It was, only 4 hours ago. I'm still groggy. I'm still asleep. My REM was interrupted. It is the middle of the night. I am not trying to wake up and fight this feeling. I'm trying to stay in this feeling because I'm going to go home. It'll be about 3:45 a.m. I'm going to walk in my front door and I'm going to plop into my bed. I'm going to sleep until the next morning. Sleep till noon if I want. So this guy's like, it's late, huh? Do you like to stay up late? Is that why you took this flight? Now, I think people think I'm 15 years old. I don't know what it is. I don't know why they talk to me this way. I said, no. That was a flight that was cheaper. And it worked best with my work schedule of when it left. It left late Friday night. That worked for me. He's like, you're probably real confused right now. It's like, I'm not confused. I'm exhausted. Like, just stop. Nobody's talking. It is the quietest Los Angeles airport has ever been. There's nothing is open. We are the only baggage claim thing going around. Nobody's talking. He's going, you don't be confused. It's Saturday now. So you flew and you changed time zones and it was overnight. So he's like, it's 2:45 here, but it would be 5:45 in New York. So you're probably really confused. Because he's like, it's 3 hours behind here. I said, I know. Now, come on. Again, I ask, if this was a man, you think this guy's talking this way? Maybe he is. Either way, just, my God, I was losing it. So then the suitcases come and I put them on the cart and we're walking to the car and he says, I noticed that your return pickup is in 4 days, so you aren't staying that long. And I said, yeah. And he said, is this a vacation? What are you going to do? Do you go to the Santa Monica Pier? I said, no, I live here. He goes, you live here? Why aren't you staying? I said, I have a job right now in New York and I'm between both places. Does your family live here? Is that why you live here but work in New York? And I said, no, I don't have anyone here, just friends. He's like, oh, this sounds like an interesting story. And it's like, it's not. He's like, so what do you do for work? And I said, I'm a writer. I mean, literally, guys, I was so tired. None of this, again, I'm down to talk to whoever. This isn't a snob thing. I don't want to talk to the plebes that drive a car. No, of course. It's just that there's a business trip-ish sort of, guys being paid really well. I'm friendly. Hello, chit-chat. Nice to meet you. But if there's going to be chit-chat, it should be about the task at hand. I don't know what the chit-chat would be about that, but just him saying, I'm new to the company. I've worked here this many years, or whatever. I don't know, but not all these questions about my personal life. And it doesn't enhance my experience on any level to just be bombarded with a million questions about me at 3 a.m. It doesn't make the ride safer. It doesn't make it go faster. It doesn't make me feel safe. It doesn't make me feel anything that I need to feel, and so we get in the car and he's like, and so I kind of like recline the seat back and I shut my eyes and I kind of roll up my scarf behind my head as a pillow. And he says, wow, you're really tired, huh?
Hi, I'm stand-up comedian and sex symbol Tig Notaro.
And I'm actor and writer Cheryl Hines.
Before Cheryl and I got into the big business of podcasting together, we were just simply friends.
And we're still friends. But now we talk about a different documentary every week on our podcast, Tig and Cheryl, True Story. We've covered everything from true crime to Britney Spears to my octopus teacher. I'm just laughing because my octopus teacher was crazy.
I found it more interesting that his son now had a stepmother, and it was an octopus. We also, Cheryl, tell stories, go on tangents, and generally make our sides hurt laughing at each other.
So whether you love documentaries or just want to hear us slowly lose our minds, check out Tig and Cheryl, True Story, wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, cool.
Like, yeah, it's 3 a.m. I'm not at work like you, where I had to readjust my hours and be awake right now. I said, yeah, I'm going to sleep so I can just kind of stay in the zone. I'm trying so hard not to wake up because I really need to go back to sleep when I get home. It's like, you don't know you're dealing with a perimenopausal woman who has trouble sleeping sometimes. Like, just leave people be. Leave women alone. Leave women alone. So I'm in the car and my eyes are shut and I have my headphones on. I'm listening to like binaural beats, just like noises that are supposed to soothe the brainwaves. And he's talking. Like I can hear him talking to me. What don't men when women put on headphones, do they become invisible to a man's eye? And I make a big point of, and I'm wearing the ones with wires because when I'm in a car with men, I wear the ones with wires so they can see them. This is how much I have to think about this shit. I take it out and go, I'm sorry, what is it? He goes, I didn't know if you wanted me to stop anywhere before you go home. Now, guys, I know I've said that when I drive my own car, I love to run errands, but that's when the flight lands at noon. There's nothing open at 3 a.m. in LA. That's the problem with LA. There would literally, I couldn't even go to like a club on the Sunset Strip if I wanted. Everything is closed. I said, no. There might be like a 24-hour 7-Eleven, and I get what he's saying. I totally get it. But that's the question you ask at the airport. Do you want to stop anywhere on the way home? Instead of, what do you do for work? Do you have family here? Why are you, And he woke me up and I said, no, I'm just going straight to bed. And he goes, okay. And then he just goes, wow, you are so tired. He just kept saying that. I could hear him saying that as I was sleeping. And so I got out of the car and he said something to the effect of like, I hope the ride was good. I noticed you slept the whole time. I said, yeah, that's great. I wanted to sleep the whole time. He said, oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure that, like, I think he thought the flight, like the drive was not good because I slept the whole time. Like he has a idea of what a good drive is, the opposite of me. Like we didn't hang, so I didn't know if he had fun. Like that was the vibe I was getting. And I just said, oh my God, I don't fucking miss traveling at all. I do not miss touring. I do not miss the amount of small talk I would have to do before I even got to a gig. Like car to the airport, checking in at the airport, getting from the airport where you land to the hotel, then check in at the hotel. Then more small talk when you get in whatever cab you're taking to go to the venue. Like non-stop. How's your day going so far? What are you in town for? Ooh. Who cares? Can we think of better things to talk to each other about? All right, to hear more of my rantings, head on over to Patreon and we'll get into the real dirt over there.